If these last few years have proven anything, it's that even while many things are getting more expensive, the variety and quality of affordable pocket knives we can get our hands on today is frankly astonishing. I'm David C. Anderson coming at you from the Knife Center, and here are 15 of the newest, greatest affordable pocket knives you can get your hands on released in 2024. All right, of course, everyone's definition of affordable is going to be a little bit different, but there's going to be some stuff here that I think nearly anyone can afford. We've got several things under the $50 mark, and we're topping out here at the $100 mark, things in those price ranges, but plenty here for everyone across, I think, any budget. And the first one is case in point, and it's going to be kind of hard to unseat this knife right here as perhaps the best value in pocket knives in terms of new releases this year. This is the CJRB Pyrite-Light. Comes in at an astonishing $30 with an RPM 9 blade steel, and that's a spray form version of the popular and effective 9CR series stainless steel. If that's word salad to you, don't worry. All you need to know is it is exceptionally good in the budget price range. The blade itself is about 3 3/8 of an inch long with this modified Wharncliffe shape, nice and slicey, crown spine, offers a little touch of elevated persona right there. We have injection molded handles here, which keep the cost down, but they're not cheap feeling. You've got full liners underneath, giving it a nice rigid feel in the hand, meaning for a $30 knife, this is something that really feels like it could execute some pretty tough work. You've got the button lock, as you can see, keeps your fingers clear of the closing path of the blade, which is always nice, and it's fun to operate as well. It works well enough for lefties too, since, as you can see, I'm not a lefty and it's working just fine in my left hand right here. The pocket clip is reversible to enable that effect. A few colors are available, and I expect they'll be doing a bunch of colors of this knife in time to come. $30, the bar is set. Let's see what else we've got. The only other knife kind of approaching that price point we're going to look at today is slightly smaller and $32 right now. And that's the Real Steel Iris, an Ostap Hell design. And I really enjoy what Real Steel is doing with their folded steel handle construction right here. You can see we've got G10 handle scales on the front and back of this knife, several different colors to suit any of your fancies, but they're bolted onto a single piece folded steel handle. You can see here folded over the back. That eliminates the need for a couple of fasteners that might otherwise be needed. It allows the interior of the knife to be very trim in terms of the parts sticking out. You can make a very compact knife like this just under 3-inch bladed pen knife right here, and it's nice and strong as well. As mentioned, 3-inch blade drop point profile with Sandvik's excellent 12C27 Swedish stainless steel. You've got a thin profile, great for just everyday slicing, and you can get it with either a conventional flipper here or a front flipper if you're into that sort of thing. Comes with a wire pocket clip, which is reversible as well. Keeps things nice and classy looking when clipped into your pocket. Security is achieved with a liner lock mechanism right there, an integral liner lock essentially. Can we even call it a liner lock if it's not a liner? It's actually the steel frame. Like a frame lock? Anyway, we're getting into the weeds right here. Very cool little pocket knives right here. Very neat in the pocket, very unassuming. Just a nice everyday pen knife. Bumping up the price range just for a minute before we come back down to the sub $50 range. The Iris is a small knife, as mentioned, and a small feeling knife as well. And we've got three here actually that are kind of smaller versions of other popular knives that we're going to take a look at. The first is the Mini Iridium from Kershaw. Regular price on this is about $60. You've got a 3-inch D2 blade with that cool stone washed finish, which is going to look nice even as it gets scratched up. Aluminum handles with this sky blue and gold accenting colors. It's got another kind of unassuming feel, just like this particular color of the Iris does. It is friendly feeling, but it is strong feeling as well. The aluminum lends itself well to a full grip, even though the handle is compact. I can just barely get all 4 of my fingers on there on my slightly larger than average hands and put that knife to work. D2 tool steel is going to hold an edge quite well. Edge geometry is also good. And this is a fully ambidextrous knife as well. The pocket clip is reversible, and the crossbar lock here, which Kershaw calls their Duralock mechanism, Works great no matter which side or which hand you're using it with. Great flicking action. There's ball bearings in the pivot here. Works great with those thumb studs as well. Now the Iridium, the full-size Iridium, has been an extremely popular knife in recent years, as has the Vosteed Raccoon, which is now why we have the Raccoon Cub, coming in at $49 right here. And definitely a mini knife. You don't get quite as much as you do with the Pyrite-Light or even the Iris in terms of blade length, but you do have an upgrade over the Iris in blade steel. We've got 14C28N from Sandvik, another great stainless steel with similar qualities to the 12C27, just a little more edge retention. Different handle colors are available, but they are all in G10, as you can see right here, and it is a small knife. The blade is 2.34 inches long and folds up into a very compact package, and yet you can get pretty much or very nearly a full grip, depending on your hand size, and that's thanks to the finger choil area right here and this handle design, which is conducive to a couple of different grip scenarios. Just another great small pocket knife. Thumb studs work great with the ball bearings and the pivot. You've even got a front flipper that works fairly well also. At least for me. I'm not the best at them, but this one works fine for me. Now, completing our trio of smaller versions of popular knives at the affordable price points. This one is stretching towards the top end of the budget, but after that, we're gonna get right back around to the $50 mark here. The Demko 80-20.5 Shark Cub, now available in an injection molded handle, whereas previously this knife was only available with slim G10. Also comes with AUS 10 stainless steel, Japanese made high quality stuff, and this comes in at about 90 bucks. 2 3/4 inches on that blade, a few different shapes are available, but it's got just another great slicey blade geometry for everyday cutting, and you've got the Shark Lock, which is the reason for this knife existing, basically. It's been a smash hit for the Demko team with their standard 20.5 as well as their AD20, and now the Shark Cub version brings it down to a smaller size, and I think honestly the handle on this I like better than the standard 20.5. It feels more intended to be this size, and the injection molding actually gives you more contour and more ergonomics, for lack of a better word here, than the G10 versions, at least in my opinion. Lock works great, it's nice and strong, fidget friendly, ambidextrous, reversible clip backs that up as well. There you go. All right, let's bring it right back down to a $39 price point right now, where you've got the Sencut Hyrax. Several Sencut models this year actually coming in around this $40-ish price point. And Sencut is the least expensive of the trio of brands that all are, the same parent company. You've got Sencut on the lower end, CIVIVI in the mid-range, and the WE Knife Company taking the top tier. And Sencut today is kind of doing things that CIVIVI knives were doing when they were first introduced, which kind of is allowing the CIVIVI stuff to occupy that middle ground a little more. But you can basically think of this as a CIVIVI, quite honestly. It's got all the greatest hits of those first CIVIVI releases as far as I'm concerned. The blade itself is only 3.3 inches long, and I say only because it feels bigger. This is a broad, burly feeling knife at that $39 price point. Got that nice leaf shape, 9CR series stainless steel. The handles are G10 and they've got a cool two-tone effect going on. You've got an ivory layer on top of the red layer, at least on this one. Other flavors are available, and some nice milling to reveal some character. You saw that on early CIVIVI releases like the Anthropo, stuff like that, which interestingly were slightly more expensive than this knife, also smaller. So they're doing something really nice here. Liner lock for security, ball bearings in the pivot. Nice snappy action with the flipper tab there, as well as the thumb stud. The handle feels great, nice and full. The blade, as I mentioned, nice and full too. You've got a hollow grind there, keeping the edge very thin, something the WE CIVIVI Sencut Triumvirate does very well. Those nice thin dimensions right behind the edge. Pocket clip is deep carry. It's inset with flush screws and reversible. A lot of knife for 39 bucks. This next knife is also a lot of knife for its price, $10 more, however, $49. And the Kansept Hellx is the name. It's a Mikkel Wilhelmsen design, and this is a ton of knife for that price. This is a big, burly, working type of knife. The blade is D2 tool steel, a little bit on the slightly thicker side, not obnoxiously so, but a little bit of extra strength there. It's 3.6 inches long, but it feels bigger. Just like the Hyrax we just looked at, this knife feels like it gives you even more than its blade length would suggest. You got sort of a modified Tonto profile here going on, but it is a single flat grind, no compound grinds here. Stainless steel liners, micarta onlays technically on the front and back, and I believe a G10 backspacer and the button lock on that knife as well. Nice full grip, nice tactically pointed forward blade when you want to do that sort of thing. You can choke up for some finer control thanks to the finger choil in that blade as well. And the button lock is quite nice. The blade flips nicely, ball bearings and pivot there. You could also just hold the button down and flick it open or closed. No reversible clip on this knife, even though the button lock could work well for the lefties. This is a right side orientation pocket clip here, but if you're right-handed and that doesn't matter to you, 49 bucks here gets you a ton of heavy-duty feeling knife. This next knife, we're going to jump up in price again before we bring it back down. The Kizer Mini Grouper coming in at $79 right now. Just over 3 inches, about 3¼ inch blade in Nitro V, which has similarities to 14C28N that we talked about earlier on that Vosteed knife right there. Cool leaf-shaped profile, nice shaped handle as well, fits in the hand quite nicely. Has a button lock here, but it's not actually a button lock. If you look from the top, this is actually, they call it a top liner lock, but really what it is their version of Spyderco's compression lock. Now that the patent on that knife or that lock mechanism is open for anyone to work on that style of lock. They still can't call it a compression lock, which is why they call it a top liner lock. But basically it is in a way stronger than either a liner lock or a button lock typically is. And this is the first time we've seen a lock like this coming down into these more attainable price ranges. So that is very cool and worthy of note, on top of it just being a very nice knife to use as well. It's nice and flicky. The detent is nice when you go to use the flipper tab to open that blade. Thumb studs likewise work exceptionally well. Very cool. Not as big as the Hellx we just looked at, but also, like these previous two knives, it feels bigger than its blade length actually is. 3¼ inch blade may not seem like a whole lot, but in the hand, this feels like even more. All right, next up, we're gonna bring it back down to the $52 price point. And this and the next several we're going to look at have a theme going, and basically, they are way nicer than their prices would suggest. All the knives here, I think, are nice. They're all definitely worthy of your consideration, but these knives especially feel like they should be way more expensive than they are. This one, a little bit more. These next ones, a lot more expensive than they actually are. This is the Real Steel Sylph, coming in at $52. Like the Iris we looked at before, it's got that same style of folded steel construction, but they've kind of taken it and, like, I don't know, gone to the extreme with it perhaps? Maybe that might not be the right word, but let me show you what we've got going on here. You've got the folded steel frame. In this particular example, it is black. We've got folded over top of that then a contrasting color. It is still stainless steel, but it has a very cool kind of coppery type of color to this one. Then you've got the blade, which is Nitro V, about 3 1/8 of an inch long here, with a nice upswept profile. And they've crowned the spine here, which kind of takes that folded style of the frame and carries it forward into the blade. It's just very nice. Last cool little detail I really appreciate here is the pocket clip. There's only one screw here at the back side of this handle. That one screw and the pivot are the only hardware, in fact, attached to or through the handle. But that screw at the back secures not only the barrel spacer, but the deep carry pocket clip as well, which features a little tab that indexes into the scale here, or the folded over frame, to keep it secure with only that one screw, to keep it from wiggling around. And as you can see, it is reversible because there is the little screw on or a hole on the front side. Very, very cool. You've got the liner lock again. Nice action. Poltergeist Knife Works, that's the designer in this case. Just so nice. Even nicer, and probably, I don't know, probably takes the crown for the most nicest knife you can get for the money. English teachers, don't come at me. There's one here that might give it some contention as well, but at just under $64, regulars on this channel have seen me show this before, the Petrified Fish Hourglass feels insanely, truly insanely good. 3.5-inch blade, you've got K110 tool steel, which is essentially a name brand D2. You've got titanium bolsters and a few different wood inlay options here at the backside. I mean, this feels like it should be easily north of $100, if not close to $150 knife. The action is great. The construction is perfect. The design is dramatic. I mean, that nice big swell leading up to the belly there on this straight clip point blade shape just speaks to me. Might speak to some of you too, because we've sold quite a lot of these this year. Excellent gentlemanly carry, and yet it is something you could carry every day. Just be a gentleman when you do it. How about that? The CRKT Padawan is another one for a few bucks more, about $68. And this is also extremely nice, especially on the blade. The handle, maybe not as elevated as the blade itself is. We've got stainless steel with micarta inlays, but this particular blade shape especially, there's also a modified Wharncliffe version of this, is so nicely done. 14C28N steel. We've got a horizontal grain, which automatically bumps up the feeling of premiumness. It emulates those hand-rubbed finishes you might expect on a custom knife, as opposed to, well, the Hourglass and many other production knives, where you've got basically a belt finish, where the belt or abrasive they're grinding this blade on provides the grain for the satin finish. A blade like this on the Padawan requires extra steps to execute, and it's very finely done too, just very silky and very nice. We've also got a polished crown spine, just truly elevating things another step further. The designer of this knife is Pedro Buzetti, should mention that. We've got basically a frame lock with these titanium onlays, or micarta onlays. I don't want to call it a liner lock the way it's constructed. It definitely feels, well, yeah, it's definitely more of a frame lock. Nice flipping action, great size for just a small everyday carry, just over 3 inches on that blade itself. Very, very nicely done. Next up, we've got a CIVIVI, and this is what I'm talking about, where the Sencut brand is kind of allowing CIVIVI to occupy the middle space with knives like this Stormhowl right here. They've had a ton of great releases this year. I think this one in particular carries that mid-elevated space quite nicely. About 75 bucks. Nitro V steel, 3.3 inches long, two-tone in this case, and a two-tone aluminum handle. Black and satin silver in this case, however you want to classify it. It's just a very cool knife that feels like a bit more. It feels extra. Got the button lock, you've got the flipper tab, you've got easy usage for lefties as well. Again, also credit to the reversible pocket clip, and just an exceptionally well executed smart design. Nice thin edge as well. We've got a flat grind on this particular knife instead of the hollow grind on the Sencuts and on a lot of the early CIVIVI knives. Lot to enjoy right there. Next up, the SRM 255L series. This actually is a series of knives that starts at a more affordable range, I believe in the $60 or so range for different handle materials. This particular one, however, is going to be the most expensive knife on the table today at $99.95 at the point we're making this video at least. And it's elevated from the G10s or the micarta handles to carbon fiber. And the carbon fiber here really changes the balance of the knife, because in terms of liners, you don't have a lot. It's basically, there's a little bit coming back to about right here. And then everything behind this, apart from the pocket clip system, which we'll get to in a second, is all carbon fiber. As such, it's very light, handles beautifully. There's a nice shape and contour to the handle too. It's not just, it's not just light for lightness' sake. The whole thing interfaces with my hand so nicely. And on top of that, it looks fantastic. Again, making it seem more expensive than its price point would suggest. And the blade backs up that personality as well. Composite construction. You've got basically a Sanmei blade, or a laminated steel, where the center core offers higher performance and the outer layers provide a little more toughness and strength. And just like the real steel knives, you've got that folded steel construction here, but just right at the top. It's a nice, pretty cool touch. And you've got their logo right there instead of being super huge on the blade, although it's still on the blade as well. Last detail we haven't talked about yet, might be the coolest innovation on the table today, and that's the pocket clip. Screwless attachment. It's reversible, so with the crossbar lock here, this is another ambidextrous knife, great for righties or lefties. But if you want to switch that clip around, you don't even need a screwdriver to do it. You simply squeeze these two sides and you can pull the clip out, swap it around, and it clicks into place right there. Very, very cool, very just special. And the fact that you can get it on a knife that starts at just under $60 right now for a gray G10 version, winner. Now we've also got a slip joint here that feels way nicer than it should given its price, and that's the RoseCraft Mosquito Lake Moose. Now, a lot of slip joints out there, you know, Case Knives is a great example. They make a lot of great knives. They release a lot of new knives each year, but they're usually just new handle versions of old patterns, old school patterns, and that's fine. They make great stuff. This is actually a new version of the Moose. It's a new pattern from RoseCraft, and as such, I think qualifies for this video. Comes in at $64, and the fit and finish on this is exceptional. Like, everything on it is so perfectly done, and I do mean perfectly. Every time I pull out a new RoseCraft, I have a hard time finding any problems with any of it. And when I say I have a hard time, I mean I don't find any problems with any of it. And this Moose is just beautiful too. We've got vintage moss brown bone for the handles. You've got the two blade shapes, and I especially love the way it looks in the half open position. There we go. On each of these, you can see I have to be careful. The spring tension on these are very, very good. It's just a beautiful pattern. Deserves the recognition. Any of the RoseCraft slip joints are kind of fall in the same category, but I'm partial to Moose patterns in general because, you know, I like Nestmucks. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But you don't see a lot of Moose patterns out there. So it's beautiful, it's rare, it's exceptionally made. You've got D2 steel here as well, which is going to offer better edge retention than most traditional slip joints that you're going to find on the market at any price. Check them out. Last but not least, and it's only here at the end because I couldn't figure out another kind of neat place to put it in the categories as I was going through. Maybe it could have been in the big hardworking knives. It is kind of that, but it's something a little different. And it's one more from CIVIVI. This is an O-Stop Hell design, a second O-Stop Hell design on the table today. This is the Hid. It is coming in at about $85. 4 1/8 inch long blade with 14C28N steel. It's a folding Santoku, a folding kitchen knife that feels just exceptional. This kind of carries a little bit more of kind of the earlier CIVIVI DNA as opposed to the more elevated CIVIVI stuff like the Stormhowl right here. But part of that's because of the price and the size for the price. I mean, this is a big knife. You've got G10 handles, you've got a wire pocket clip, you have a nested liner lock and ball bearings in the pivot. Check out the closed profile. Watch your fingers when you close it. There you go. Just a super cool looking blade. You've got thumb studs. You can do the opening that way if you wish. The ball bearings help carry it out very nicely, moving all the mass of that blade very satisfyingly. And you can even use this long fuller to do something like that reverse flick on it as well. It's going to work nice in the kitchen. Should be a pretty hefty cutter if you're breaking down lots of cardboard or making bigger cuts day to day. Maybe a little more specialized. It's not quite as well-rounded at most mundane tasks out there, but doing what it does best. I love this design. I think it's at a great price. It's built very well, and that's going to be number 15 on our list today. And let me know what you folks think. What are your favorite budget knives out there, whether it's new this year or not? I still contend that the most exciting knives on the market today are the ones that are on the more affordable end of the spectrum. I said it last year when we did a similar roundup to this for that year's new releases. I think it still holds true today. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And if you want to get your hands on any of these knives, make sure to check out the links in the description that will take you over to KnifeCenter.com. While you're there, don't forget, of course, about our long-running Knife Rewards program, because when you buy one of these knives today, you might as well earn some free money to spend on your next one. I'm David C. Anderson from the Knife Center signing off. See you next time.